Hey guys, today I'm going to be teaching you expressions, equations, and literal equations in Algebra 1. Now, of course, I'm not going to teach you all of this just yet. First, we got to go over the basics. The first basic is variables. Variables are letters that are placed in a spot where an unknown number is supposed to be. So, for example, if it was 5 times something, then that would also be 5 times A, or 5 times F, or even 5 times X. You get it. And here's a tip. If you see a number and a letter very close to each other, then that means that they are being multiplied together. And if you see a dot in between a number and a letter, or a dot in between a number and another number, or a dot in between a letter and a letter, then that means that they are also being multiplied together. So 6c is also 6 times c, but it is also 6 dot c. So if we had an equation like 5x plus 4 equals 9, what would be our variable? Well, since x is the only letter, and we know that 5x is just 5 dot x, where our dot is the multiplication, and x is our unknown number, then we know that x is our variable. Now on to the second basic, which are coefficients. A coefficient is the number before a variable. So 6c's coefficient would be 6. Or if it was negative y is just negative 1 times y. There's our dot again. So negative 1 would be the coefficient. The third basic is constants. A constant is a number that does not get multiplied by a variable. Therefore, it does not change in value. So 6c plus 5 equals y. 5 would be the constant. Or if it was 6c plus 8 equals 9. 8 and 9 would be the constants, because their value isn't changing, unlike 6, because they don't have a c next to them. But if c turned out to be 2, then we would substitute it in for c in the equation, and that'd be just 6 times 2 plus 8 equals 9. 6 times 2 is 12, so it would be 12 plus 8 equals 9. 6c turned into 12, but 8 and 9 stayed the same to 8 and 9, because they are constants. They don't have a variable next to them. Therefore, they do not change in value. The fourth basic is terms. A term is any number that is added or subtracted, so any number that has a positive or negative sign in front of it, which is all numbers. Every value in an equation or an expression is a term. For example, if we had 5x plus 8 equals 17. Well, first we gotta look at where our signs are, and then we have to look at the values next to them. So we know there's a plus in front of the 8. But what's the signs for 5x and 17? Even though there are no signs in front of them that we can visibly see, they are positive because there are no negative signs in front. So we have to look at all the signs, and then we have to look at the values next to them. We have 5x, we have 8, and we have 17. So our steps are we look at the signs, and then we look at the values next to them, and then those are our terms. So our terms in this case are 5x, 8, and 17. What if it was 5x minus 8 equals 17? It would be the same thing. We would look at our signs. There are imaginary pluses there. And then we would just look at the values next to them. 5x, 8, and 17. Now the reason why we didn't box the minus sign or the addition sign in the terms in the last basic was because those are something called operators. Operators sound like operation, and operations are adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. That's exactly what operators are. They are the operations in an equation or an expression. So if it was 4x minus 7 equals 5, what would be the operator? Well, it would be minus. But let's say it was 4x divided by 7 times 9 equals 3 plus 8. What would be our operations then? Well, our operators would be dividing, multiplying, and adding. These are all the basics you should know before you do this unit. Variables like x and y that are letters that take the spot of an unknown number in an expression in our equation. Coefficients like 6 and 6x that is being multiplied by a variable, so it therefore changes the variable's value. Constants like 5 and 6x plus 5 because it does not change in value due to being multiplied or divided by a variable. Terms in the equation 6x plus 5 equals 11. 6x, 5, and 11 would be terms. And operators, if it was the equation 6x plus 5 minus 10 equals 11 minus 0. I know you can't see the 0, but the operators would be plus, minus, and minus. Thanks for watching. I hope I helped in making math a little less hard for you. Bye!